What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and, of course, the brains and brawn of the whole situation. Y'all know who that is. That is Miguel, who's down in
Some more, having big fun.
and looking all flickery and jittery over there as he's moving around, looking like Max Headroom over there. But we are back for yet another Wednesday, y'all. We're here. We are live. It is Wednesday night. It is 8:02 in the PM. It is day 2 of the NBA draft. It is the third game between the Phillies and Nationals, in which last night the Phillies had an amazing ninth inning. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, let's get through some of the particulars. All right, let's do that. And that is, you can text us on the Check Swing Podcast. You can hit us up on our 24/7 text line. That number is 484-606-6061. Now, you can also hit us up on the phone lines. That number is 727-731-8267. Let us know what you're thinking. But of course, you can always leave your thoughts in the chat. And we'll put those thoughts on air if you like. We always have people putting their thoughts in the chat and we interact with you. That's what we do on the Check Swing Podcast. But without further ado, let's get into the show. And before we do that, of course, you know what I like to do. I like to ask my folks how they been. So Miguel.
Soy.
How you been?
Whew. A weekend was had, I will say. The Visions 13U won their first travel tournament of the summer. Of course, we did it the hard way because it's the first time they actually played a travel tournament. So, it was a learning experience. It was a big learning curve. But in order for us to win the championship in our silver bracket, we had to win all 3 games. So we had to rock out at 8 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, and then championship at 5 o'clock. So we won 10-4 in the 8 o'clock game. We won a rematch against the team that beat us the day before, 7-4 in the 12:30 game, and we won 20-13 in the championship game. Yeah,
putting up some football scores out there.
Yeah,
but it sounded like it was a good time you had, and was that like your first loss of the summer?
Not our first loss of the summer. So during our summer season, we went a 15-1-1. Okay. But travel baseball is definitely different than local county leagues and things like that. Right. Mainly because like the competition is more. It's a little more challenging. You're getting kind of like the best of the best in these areas. And, the pace was a lot different. And, from your experience, we both experienced, with travel baseball and, stuff like that. There are time limits. We have an hour 45 in this particular tournament. You have to, watch the pitch counts and, we had to stretch some guys, this weekend because we were short one guy. We were actually short 3 guys, but really one guy. But kudos to them that, there were some ups and downs, there were some attitudes to be had. But I think it's just more so the growing pains of learning how to deal with, playing so many games in the day in the heat. But to their credit, they were able to kind of push through it. In spite of all that, they were able to push through and come out on top. So I see the rest of the summer working out pretty well, and if we can just get some of the the brain bumps. I'll say if we can get some of those out of the way, but
But that's
kudos.
that's to be expected at that age.
Yeah.
That's part of what makes it fun at that age too. Fun, not fun when it's happening, but you got stories to tell later on.
Oh
Not so
yeah.
fun when you get older.
Yeah.
Not so fun. Um, well, congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to Visions Select. Yes, I said it correct this time. Um, getting that championship over the weekend. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Phillies as well, who last night I don't know how they did it because I wasn't even watching it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I wasn't watching it. I only saw maybe one highlight of it. I heard about it. Had an 8-run ninth inning. An 8-run ninth inning. And ended up winning the game, what, 13-8, something like that?
Yeah. They had 8 straight hits with 2 outs.
Unreal, man. That's unheard
Almost
of. Like,
unreal.
that,
Yeah.
that type of stuff
Almost
doesn't
unreal.
happen. That type of stuff doesn't happen. Now, it doesn't really move the needle for me either. I mean, Miguel, let me ask you:
Mhm.
Is it just a game, or is this like the spark?
It's hard to tell, and I'm not trying to punt on the question, but the problem is it's baseball and it's 162 games. And I've said this all the time. You can literally have a 10, even a 15 game losing streak, and then by the end of the season still manage to make the playoffs. And we all know that the Phillies are a streaky team. They've been historically streaky. Um, there's a couple of players that I'm looking at. Like I know I've always been hard on Brad Marsh, and it seems like he's finally overcome his issues with left-handed pitching. I think he hit 2 home runs in back-to-back games, so he's starting to like appear to grow into the player that we all kind of hoped he would be. And then you hear about Trey Turner, who is now, he's starting to make his way back, but he's going through his seasonary slump, if you will. And I think he was dealing with some sort of hand issue from when he got hit by a pitch a couple weeks ago. But um, Schwarber is Schwarbering.
Not
I,
playing
I
tonight.
don't, huh?
He's not playing tonight.
Yeah, because he bad back or something, sore back.
Lower back soreness.
Which I mean, when you're swinging that hard for the fences, I can imagine having a sore back every once in a while. But yeah,
Pause.
yeah. Pause. My bad. But I think we need to stick with, and you said this. You need to see what the team looks like after the All Star break because again, August and September is really when you could tell what the team's going to be, and I think now you're down one starter in your rotation because you had to send down Andrew Painter. Um, and they have no fifth starter right now. They're literally it's trial by fire right now. So I think they've had two
Yeah,
rookies or split starts and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's rough. It's a rough go, but they're still persevering. They're getting through. They're playing well. For right now, like you said, they're a streaky team, and we'll have to see. Um, but a few days ago, I believe it was over the weekend. Excuse me. Bryce Harper hit for the cycle, first cycle of his professional career. Um, and for those that may not know, excuse me, I have to take a sip of my ginger ale real quick. Pardon me.
I was about to say, make sure you cover the label.
For those that may not know, a cycle in baseball is when you hit a single, a double, a triple, and a home run all in the same game. And for those that don't know what a single, double, triple, and home run is, a singles when you get to first base, doubles when you get to second base, on the same hit, triples when you get to third base, on the same hit, home run is when you get all the way around the bases. on the
Or if
same
you
page.
don't know what any of those things are, then you shouldn't be watching the show.
Now we're not going to say that because we love every viewer we get because they can share us. We're not going to do that. We gotta wait till we get real big and famous for that. We get real big and famous, we can do that. No, but here's the thing: it was a great achievement. It's something that is extremely rare in baseball. It doesn't happen every year. No hitters are rare, but they seem to happen every year. Um, but hitting for the cycle, it doesn't happen, especially with your team. Um, with that being said, when he get the triple, which is the hardest one of the four to get, when you get the triple, when he got his triple, he made a questionable decision to run from second to third base. Worked out in his favor because the play didn't go to third base and went to the plate to try to get the runner out at home, and it was scored a triple for him. Now, there are people in the Phillies fan contingency that really had a problem with him doing what he did.
Was it?
I said, "What? Go ahead."
Can you correct something? Is it was it a Phillies fan contingent or was it the Philly media? Because lately,
Oh, there's fans.
Phillies fan.
There's fans. Fans. I
Okay,
mean, the media might have a problem with it too, but I'm talking about when you if you're a fan and you're calling a radio station and you're saying that that was dumb or that was selfish or whatever the case may be, that's a fan saying that. In my opinion, they're saying it to a media person, but that's a fan saying that. But I don't get the like. I mean, it worked out. If it didn't work out, it didn't matter because the Phillies were up by like 12 or something like that at the time. Something crazy. And it was the fifth inning. Okay. Um, like some people, I just feel like some people just don't want to enjoy a game. You know what I mean?
I don't know that people, and I'll say millennials. I don't know that they know how to enjoy a game. And the reason why I say that is because I forget who I was having this conversation with, but when you and I were growing up, and I hate to do the back in my day, but when you and I were growing up, when we went to Phillies games and stuff, there was literally just what the Spectravision that you could barely see up the top. There was little organ music playing, stuff like that. Popcorn, Cracker Jack,
The one scoreboard thing.
one scoreboard. You know what I mean? Like think like we were really in tune to the game, but nowadays there's so many things going on, even at the stadium. There's always random noises. There's always some yelling. There's always a video. There's always somebody getting interviewed. There's a contest going on in left field. There are hot dog wieners running down the right field line. There's presidents running down left field line. It's like there's so many things to like focus on that's not even part of the game that it may just be harder to enjoy. You know what I mean? And baseball is a hard game to watch if you're not a fan. Whereas football kind of does its own thing. I'd even say hockey's a great sport, and basketball, but it's like baseball is the chess of all sports. It's a hard sport to watch, even for me. But I don't need all the nuances. But I think in all that, it makes people complain about stuff that, like, is it are people like why? Was it just that it
I
wasn't
feel like you
nice?
want to say something like this. Not what you were going to say, but something in the comparison of people complaining about what he did would also complain about a basketball player backing down somebody in the paint and scoring that way instead of shooting a 3 pointer. You know what I mean? How they do today.
Right.
Like almost like they would feel like what shooting a three is more difficult than backing somebody down in the paint. I get what you're saying. Um, Yeah, people got to enjoy the game. Yeah, maybe it was not the right decision. Maybe and it was not a good decision. It worked
But
out
why was this not right or a good decision in your opinion? Why was it not right or good? Why might have it not been right or good?
because when he hit second base, the cutoff man was catching the ball. So basically, if the play had went to third, he would have been out by 15 miles. But I'm sorry, if the play went to third, he'd have been out by like 15 miles. But the play went to the plate, which allowed him to get to third base.
Mhm.
As a coach, if you're out there as a coach and the cutoff man has the ball and you're rounding second base, you're not telling your guy to keep running the third. It just so happened the cutoff man turned and on his mind, he had one track mind. He was throwing it to the plate. And the guy still scored, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe who knows? How did they know that he wasn't? That he in his mind he probably knew that the fielder was going to throw home. You know what I mean?
So you make a good point. But if that were the case, he would have said that. I know in the scouting report and in that situation, this team usually, goes to the plate, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I don't know if they scout baseball to that degree like they do
Mhm.
with football. But he would have said that. And some of the things that Bryce has said, he won't he won't miss an opportunity to remind you how intelligent of a baseball player he is. Like he would have said that. Um, but like I said, it worked out. You know what I mean? It worked
Well,
out, and he got the cycle.
and the other thing is too is like when you see the play happening, right? And I'm watching the replay of it, standing ovation for everybody. So obviously nobody. There was 41,000 people that thought that it was okay. And granted, okay, they didn't have the benefit of like looking at it over and over and over again. But I think I don't I think that you're I think they're arguing about the wrong thing or they're pissed off about the wrong thing.
Well, what people are mad at, if you
Is that he went for the cycle and and they were up by 11 runs.
no, what no no what they're
But see,
mad at was the fact that he, Bryce Harper makes base running mistakes quite often,
mhm,
and that could have been another one.
could have.
And I think people are mad at the fact that he not often, but he's good for making a base running mistake, and that could have been in a crucial situation, but it wasn't. Champion Maker said, "I call that hustle." He was hustling for sure. He was hustling for sure.
All right.
Um,
It's a non-issue to me. You know, the only if anybody should be mad at anything, it would be it could be Mets fans for him trying to do that with an 11-run lead.
now that I would understand if
Right,
Met fans,
but
I
you see
would
what I'm saying?
understand.
This sounds like a millennial thing that we're arguing about. You know what I mean? Like you're you have a point in something, but we're arguing about the wrong thing. If there is an argument at all about anything,
It shouldn't be an argument at all.
there you go.
I I, I feel like so I think that opposing fans would understand a player doing what Bryce Harper did in that situation to get the cycle, being that the cycle is so rare in the game of baseball.
Hmm.
and even more rare to have it by the fifth inning of the game. You still got to have half of the game still to go.
Well, so and I get that point, but it's almost like, would you say there is a fair argument for somebody being mad at somebody? And I have my answer to this. Who's throwing a no hitter, and it's a 2-0 game, and you come up in the ninth inning, and you know you're the fastest player on the team, and you, instead of swinging away, you bunt. And I know it's happened in the past, and I know Kurt Chilton was notorious for. I think he wound up hitting the next hitter, hitting the next batter, and then cussing out the base runner because I think he was literally like 2 outs away from a no hitter, and he never had one in his career, but he was 2 outs away from a no hitter, and then the person comes up and bunts, and he has to leave the game, and the team wins the game. The team that broke up the no hitter and did the bunt or executed the bunt. I don't have a problem with it. I'm trying to win the game for my team. Now, if it's like, then there's your argument. Okay, if it's 15-0, do you try to bunt to try to start a 15-run rally in the ninth inning? You know what I mean? It's like the argument is, this in this particular case, the argument seems stupid to me, and it sounds like a millennial that. Never mind. I was gonna say.
It is stupid, and it's not just one person. It's dumb. It's dumb.
But how many people have you heard say it?
There's been plenty. There's a lot of people that have been like angry about that because I think and to me I believe it's because the fact that he has definitely made some base running blunders in the past. One in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Attaboy Harper. You know what I mean? And like I said, that could have been another one. So I mean that's the thing, and that's how fans here are. Like some fans here are too smart for their own good. You know what I mean? Y'all not, you guys are not coaching these teams. Miguel and I are not coaching the Phillies. You're not coaching the Phillies. Let the coach handle that. let the coach handle it. Let the manager handle it. Be a fan. Have some fun. Enjoy it. I'm gonna leave that at that. Uh, I have a stat for you, Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some discussions about Aaron Nola a time or two on this show, at least. um, so if I were to tell you, now I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna just let you. I'm gonna let you have at this one. 15 starts Aaron Nola this year. How many games do you think he gave up 4 or more runs?
Doesn't matter. He should be traded. Okay. I said it. Um, my first guess would be all of them, but I know that that's probably not correct. I would probably, guess on the higher end of maybe 7 or 8.
So when I first saw this, I kind of was where you are, same place, right? But then I find out that Aaron Nola in his 15 starts has given up 4 or more runs in only 5 of his 15 starts. Now, let me ask you this, Miguel. For what Aaron Nola is earning, and I'm not somebody to be in the pockets, right? But you've brought it up. You brought up his contract many times on the show. You even said that the Phillies shouldn't resign. We've been on the air that long that the Phillies, you didn't think the Phillies should resign him at the price that he was looking to get. Do you? Is that good? Not good enough? Because I know you're not going to say it's good enough, but is that does how does when you hear that what do you think about that? and the person that it is.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm not surprised. This is, I mean, it, when you look at the ERA in the last 15 games, it's at 5.71. And granted, that doesn't take into account. I think he only went past the fifth inning three times in three of those starts. No, at one, two, six innings, six and a third, six. So he went past the fifth inning four times in those 15 starts.
Mhm.
So
And those fit since you got the stats there, help me out. In the four in those four, you said it was four times he went past the fifth.
yes,
How many of those four were games where he gave up four more runs?
let's see. Six innings, he gave up three. He has no runs in the 1 6 run 6 inning game. Two, one, two, three, and four. So in all four of those games, he actually gave up 3 runs twice, no runs once, and 2 runs once.
Um, Say that again. There's something that came in on the text line, so I was looking
So
at
all right,
more of a message.
in one of the games over 6 innings, he gave up 2 runs, and then one was no runs, and then the other two were 3 runs and 1 run.
So they took him out before the sixth inning
Hmm.
in games where he only gave up one run and games where he only gave up two runs.
Right, which usually means that
He was
he
losing.
did very well in the first two at bats, and they didn't want him. They didn't want him to face them the third time around.
That's a Topper thing. I don't know if that's a Mattingly thing.
Well, if we're looking at, let me see, Mattingly has pitched them past the sixth inning once, and that's the 2 runs. But yeah, I can't tell which game it was that Mattingly had him. But if we're going by like the last 5 starts, 2 runs, 2 runs, 5 runs, 3 runs, and 3 runs. But he's literally not going past the fifth inning.
It is what it is. He's not going past the fifth inning, and it's keeping his run count down.
Yeah, but his ERA,
Sometimes you gotta save people from themselves.
I don't know. You know how I feel about the whole Aaron Nola thing.
You
We
say,
knew
I know
we.
you're saying killing the bullpen, which it does. But
Mhm.
when you got Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez on the mound, your bullpen gets a couple of days of rest. Because
Yeah,
when they
but
had,
that's
like we were talking beforehand, him and Painter back to back, killing the bullpen.
mm,
That's why you invest in them bullpen arms, though. At least that's what you're supposed to do.
right, and 2 of them are down. So, and Alvarado, his ERA is like 8 right now.
Yeah, Alvarado hasn't been good since he was on the juice or whatever it was. It was,
Right.
excuse me, whatever it was. He tested positive for.
But right
Yeah,
now,
even
Aaron
when he
Nola.
came back, he had struggled finding his stuff
Right.
last.
I
Oh,
mean, for the season, Aaron Nola's 3-4, and his ERA is almost at 6. I
3 and 4.
mean, I mean,
It's
we
not.
pretty much, huh?
It's not good enough. I mean, he's not. He has not been good enough. But it was surprising to me that he's given up less than four runs in 10 of his starts because it
Right, but
feels like he gave up 6 runs in every one of his starts.
right, but here's the thing, though. If you, it's kind of misleading, and this is why I hate like WAR stats and stuff like that. Because technically, his WAR is almost at 1. but which means he's a value. Some well, I mean, the WAR is really low, so not terribly valuable. Um, but in those starts that he gave up less than 4 runs, like he's not going past the fourth or fifth inning.
And he shouldn't be.
Right, but you try to count on your starter in the playoffs to go 6, 7, 8 in the
He's
playoffs.
not
This
gonna be
is
starting. He's not going to be starting in the playoffs.
right, and he shouldn't. But it's like, then why is he here? It all goes back to that. Because right now, you basically have your three starters are Wheeler, Sanchez, and Luzardo.
Right.
And that fourth starter is supposed to be a reliable, at very least, an innings guy. But I mean, a starter giving you 4 or 5 innings in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe Manning Lee can work it out, but it's not.
I mean,
It doesn't look
like
like
when you
that.
say it like that right now, just now in my head, a starter giving you 4 or 5 innings in the playoffs. If it were Topper, that's all he would get anyway, depending on how many times he went through the order. That's
Right.
real. I mean, that's all. Like if it were Wheeler, if it were Sanchez, that's all they get, unless it's a shutout or something. That's all they were really getting. Marlon said, "How many home runs has he given up?" That's a
There's the question. That's the question to ask. He's given up 15 home runs in those 15
in
starts.
15 starts, so he's giving up a home run a start.
So, all right, here's the thing. He's given up 15 home runs and he has 25 walks, which
25 walks.
explains 25 walks, which explains the short outings, meaning he's probably at. So, 4 innings usually on average could be about 50, 60 pitches. So, with all the walks, he's probably in the 80s or 90s already before the fifth inning.
Probably.
So
Probably.
again, I hear what you're saying about in all 15 starts he's only given up above 4 runs 5 times, but in those starts, like in the six home run in the one game that he gave up 6 runs, he gave up 3 home runs and had 2 walks. And another game he gave up 6 runs, he gave up 2 home runs and 3 walks. So it's like, and then the one that he gave up 5 runs, it was 4 walks. So
Yeah,
if for
bad game.
nothing,
Bad
uh,
game. Bad
right,
games.
but you're having them in succession, and remember in the playoffs he had games like that. Like I can't. I think it was
I
one
think
game.
I think you could probably say that anything over 4 runs in a baseball game for a pitcher is a bad game.
It
Anything
is.
4 and above is a bad game.
It is if you're only pitching 4 or 5 innings. Yes, in a complete game, maybe not so much. Maybe you got tired late. But if you're in the third or fourth inning and you've already given up 4 runs,
If you've given up four
that's
runs
not a
in a
quality
complete
start.
game effort, then you must have gave up those 4 runs in like the first inning.
Or
Because
that last inning that he
if you
pitched.
give up those runs late, they're taking you out.
Aaron Nola is on the same list as Joel Embiid,
What list is that?
the ish list.
Oh.
They either need to be traded or they need to retire.
So I was actually thinking about the show earlier this morning, and I wanted to pose this question to you before we move ahead because we got some basketball to talk about, y'all. Um,
Ill.
you are the
Uh-oh.
GM of an NBA franchise, not the Sixers. Any other franchise? Are you trading for Joel Embiid?
No.
Okay, that was it. That was just a question. I figured I knew the answer, but that was just a question. Um, so talking about the NBA, right? Big news over well, not even over the weekend, just big news overnight, Monday into Tuesday. Um, Was it Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday and the Monday? Whatever it was. I had to go to work when I found out. um, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been traded to the Miami Heat. Miami has
God bless
traded.
you.
Thank you. Miami has traded damn near everybody on their team and like their next draft picks for the next decade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and now they got to fill out the roster. Miguel, I'm gonna tell you straight. I don't know what Miami was thinking with this one. I really don't. I guess I mean I don't know if they need to sell tickets. I don't. I wouldn't think so. I mean I don't know. Um, but they gave up a lot of pieces. Now were they on the verge of winning a championship? No. Um, but they were a gritty, tough team that really, they competed well, made playoffs. I really, I didn't understand it. Champion Maker says Memphis will take that deal. Um, what deal is that, Champion Maker? Let me know what you're talking about. Memphis taking that deal. Um, they gave up so many pieces. Like I don't know how they expect Giannis to win in Miami when they gave up so many really role playing major, not maybe not superstars, but majorly role playing pieces for Giannis. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. Um, I don't know. Maybe the folks out there can hit us up, let us know what they think about that one.
It sounds like a ticket thing.
Maybe, man. Maybe they want to sell some jerseys or something. I really don't
The,
know.
the NBA doesn't have that salary floor, does it?
What you mean,
Like
like
so the NHL has that
mandatory minimums?
huh?
Mandatory minimums?
Yeah, like the NHL has the mandatory. They have a salary floor, so every team has to spend up to a certain
Oh,
number.
at least they have to spend at least that amount on
Right.
salary. I don't know. I've never
'Cause
heard that term used
I
in the
forget what
NBA. Oh,
I'm saying it wrong. It's not because it's like the reverse of a salary cap, but it's to kind of force teams, smaller market teams, to spend money still.
well, the NBA definitely does have a salary cap, so I don't know if that would in turn keep them from having a salary floor. But they do have a salary cap. They do go over the salary cap and have to pay the luxury tax and all like that. Which what the hell was Daryl Morey just or not Daryl Morey, Josh Harris, I guess they really didn't want to do. Uh Champion Maker said they will give you Morant for Embiid. As much as I like Job Morant's game, no, nah, nah, man. Already got Tyrese Maxey. You already got VJ as come. You just drafted um, LeBaron Fallon Jr., which we'll get into in a minute. John Morant in Philly, nah, because then you have to trade those other. Nah, man, nah. I mean, I'm an MB guy, and and I'm on I'm close to the fence that Miguel is on of trade Embiid. I'm not saying trade him, but I'm like it's time for him to not be the focal point of the franchise. But I'm not trading for John Morant. I'm not doing that. I don't know how that makes us better. But yes, last night was draft night, and the Sixers picked up Alabama guard LeBaron Fallon Jr. And I'm not gonna say too much about it. I'm gonna just put it in here. Pause. And I'm gonna allow this. I'm gonna allow this. Where we go. I guess I got to start the video, huh?
LeBaron Philon Jr. has been drafted by the 76ers. From Alabama, the guard will provide an immense scoring punch off the bench and has the ball on a string at all times. 22 points and 5 assists in college, Philon shot 39.9% from 3 on 6.2 attempts. Scoring has never looked easier for anyone on a basketball court as he is supremely confident in his shot creation and shot making. The weakness comes with a smaller frame at just 6'4" and is one of the lighter players in the draft at 175 pounds. But the Sixers and Mike Yancey brought in a certified killer in Philon who will be sure to boast heavy scoring outputs that will delight the hometown crowd. And much like when Tyrese Maxey fell down draft boards in 2020, the Sixers take advantage again on a guard slipping to the 20s.
Yeah, this is a B+. I don't think the 76.
I wasn't prepared to do that. Sorry. So that's your new 76ers rookie. We'll see if he's not traded or anything like that. See if he is on the team come September, October. Not that I think he should get traded or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, you just never know. You got a new president of basketball operations. You kind of just got to see what they're going to do. But it's a guard out of Alabama. Some people are like, well, why would you draft a guard? You have VJ Edgecombe, you got Tyrese Maxey. Let's not forget, folks, they just traded a guard that they shouldn't have traded in Jared McCain. So they got to get that backup guard back in there. At 22, you're not drafting a franchise changer or anything like that. You weren't in the top 5 of the draft. Shoot, it feels like in today's NBA, you got to be in the top 2 or top 3 of the draft to get a franchise-changing player. But with that being said, congratulations to that young fella. I hope the future is bright, and I hope you make a major impact on the Sixers. Go to this comment real quick here from Marlon. He said, wouldn't have been a smart move to draft a guy like Chris Senac or Josh Jefferson. 2 guys that would be capable of playing alongside Joel and slide inside at center when he's unavailable. So, Marlon, I'm going to go back to what I just said earlier. They may still draft a big, but I think it's no longer time for this franchise to try to fit around Embiid. In my opinion, it's no longer time for them to fit around him. It's now time for him to start fitting into what's happening because, for the next few years, he'll be here, but he may not be the focal point. He's probably not going to have the touches that he once had. He might be the old head that's schooling the youngins that really Joel can't school the youngins, but so much because Joel didn't have an old head in the franchise himself to school him. So, but to go back to what you said, I think their second round is today. Are they in the second round? I'm not even sure if they're in the second round. But it's time to stop trying to fit with Embiid and have to fit around your backcourt of Maxey and Edgecombe. And the second round is tonight, like I just said. I'm losing my voice, Miguel. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to power through it. I'm trying to talk through it. There's something else I have for you. Marlon said, man, what's going on with my voice? Marlon said, I agree with not drafting to fit Embiid. Only thing is we are stuck with him for the next 4 years. Thanks, Daryl Morey. Yeah, we are. We're stuck. And here's the thing. We got to say we're stuck with him because we're stuck with the contract, right? But we're stuck. We're not stuck with him. When he's in there, he's still a valuable player. Let's not forget. Let's not diminish that. When he's in there, He's a very valuable player. We just have to, as fans, we have to not expect him to be there and just kind of take it as a plus if he is there. Right? Like kind of like tonight, Kyle Schwarber's not there and it's disappointing. Now we expect Kyle Schwarber to be in there, don't get me wrong. But when he is back in the lineup, it's going to be exciting that he's back. Yes, he's back in the lineup. He's not hurt. Let's go. Yes. That's what it's going to have to be for Embiid. It's going, oh, Embiid's playing tonight? Okay, good. Great. That means things are going to open up for Maxey and Edgecombe for them to do their thing. That's kind of what's going to have to be, man. Unfortunately. I had high hopes for Embiid, Miguel.
I know he did.
Had high hopes for him.
He made you publicly proclaim that the Sixers would win the NBA championship twice.
Nah, he didn't make me do that. That was the Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels made me do that. Actually, I ain't had Jack Daniels in a long time. It was whatever I got back there. The Miller Genuine Drive.
Free promo. Don't do it. Free promo.
Oh yeah, no. Well, it made me say dumb stuff. Let's move on. You had a would you rather for tonight. We kind of went a little. We're doing something a little different tonight.
Couple would you rather's.
And y'all at home, y'all at home. Y'all might be home. Y'all at home, play along, please.
All right. How about we do it this way? I'll give you some categories. I'll give you 2 categories to choose from, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Athlete's career or the ultimate fan dilemma?
I always like the athlete's career one. I always like it, but I'm not going to pick it because I'm intrigued by the fan dilemma. I'm intrigued.
Okay. Would you rather never be able to watch sports live again, only replays, or never be able to look at sports stats again?
You said never be able to look at sports stats again?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that one.
Never be able to look at sports. You gotta watch your sports live.
Yeah, man. It's hard for me to watch a replay, even if I don't know what happened. I don't know why. It's just it just doesn't feel the same for me.
I mean, you know me. I love stats. I love important stats that like mean something. And I don't know. Like, I guess I think what's done it is that because we don't get, obviously I'm in Baltimore, so unless the Eagles are the national team, I have to figure out a way to get the Eagles games. So I'm used to watching the replays. And I had this thing where I kind of like the element of surprise, so I will surprise myself. So I would lean towards. No, I gotta watch sports live, especially during the playoffs. Never mind. I didn't want to lie to myself.
Thank you, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, for making the NBA exciting enough to go live, and now all sports are live now. Thank you.
All right. Would you like either on the field disasters or fan section humiliation?
On the field disasters.
On the field disasters. Would you rather accidentally score on your own goal in the championship game or pants yourself while running down the field?
Pants myself running down the field. Pants myself running down the field. Hey.
And it's funny because
they down. I probably wouldn't even try to pick them up all fast. I don't know.
Right.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
it's funny because I'm reminded when I saw that I was hoping you would actually you would pick on Field of Disasters because I'm always thinking of you remember the story I can't remember the name but it was the one of I think Jim Marshall the he was part of the Purple People Eaters from the Minnesota Vikings in the 70s who was notorious for picking up a fumble and running the wrong way and scoring 2 points for his team but it didn't cost them. I don't even think it cost them the game, and they wound up going to the Super Bowl that year. So it wound up kind of being, a no nothing kind of thing. But I do remember it was a playoff game. The Edmonton Oilers when they were going through their run in the '80s of winning Stanley Cups. I believe they missed out on winning 5 consecutive because there was one year where one of their players was taking the puck and he was going around the back of the net and he mishandled it and shot it off of his goalie and it went into the net. And that was, I believe, was the only year they didn't win the Stanley Cup because I think they won 2 years and then missed because of that shot, and then they came back and won 2 years later, two back-to-back again. So they missed winning 3 consecutive cups because of that error, and I can't remember the players' names. Would you rather have your jersey ripped completely open on live TV or fart loudly right into the referee's microphone?
Oh, I got a fart in the microphone. I definitely got a fart in the microphone. Like neither one of those are bad to me. Give me the opportunity. I have to do both of those.
I had a feeling you would pick flatulence.
Listen, that would be like I would love to. I would love. I think the funniest time to do it would be when the referee is how they challenge plays and they say upon further review, whatever the sport is at that moment because everybody's quiet.
Right.
Everybody's quiet. Everybody's listening to the referee.
Oh my goodness.
And look, I'm not the only one.
There is something pleasing about a good flatulent, right? All right, last one. Either press conference nightmares or superpowers and scenarios.
What was the first? You said press conference nightmares
Hmm.
or superpowers and what scenarios?
Hmm.
I- I'll take press conference nightmares.
Okay. Would you rather give a post game interview with chicken stuck in your front teeth or completely forget the name of your head coach?
Forget the name of the coach.
Are you the one would be like,
And
is
I
that
would just call him
something?
coach. I would just say coach.
Yeah, but it's like you can maneuver out of that one. You can't maneuver out of a big chunk of chicken coming out of the front of your
So I
teeth.
don't. That's why I would rather forget my coach's name.
Yeah, yeah. All right, last one. Would you rather accidentally call the reporter mom or sneeze directly into the microphone? I like that.
Um, sneeze in the microphone.
Something
It's,
about noises. There's something about off color noises.
somebody had to come and change the mic cover, the pop filter.
Right. All right. That is it for tonight.
That's it.
For
That's it.
yep.
All right. So now let me go ahead and what I'm going to do right now, because Miguel is stumping me. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to turn off the chat. Not turn off the chat. I'm going to turn the chat off on my screen. Y'all can keep on chat. Please do. All right. So Miguel is stumping me, y'all. And what sport is it this time?
You'll see.
Please don't be hockey.
We have never done hockey as much as I want to do it, but
Yeah,
I
because
don't believe that. I don't believe that would be fair to you.
I think I know two hockey jersey numbers. That's 88 Lindros and 99 Gretzky. That's it.
So you don't know Rod Brindamore?
Not was 19.
17. 19 was Michael Renberg.
Oh yeah. All right. So
This one's easy.
four All-Star appearances and two-time World Series champion. Please give me the teams. I know the second one is Phillies, but please give me the teams.
We've got the Texas Rangers, the San Francisco Giants, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Houston Astros.
All right. Now that wasn't an order on the screen. What is the order of the
Houston
time?
Astros from left to right. Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies, San Francisco Giants. Excuse me, Texas Rangers.
Started career with the Houston Astros, then came to the Phillies. All right. Number 3. Can you give me like the time frame of the career?
Mid to late 2000s, early 2010s.
Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies. What were the last two?
The Giants and the Rangers.
100 pence. Must be right because he didn't say no yet. All right. And you know what's bad? Not bad, but I was thinking pitcher the whole time.
Really?
I was thinking pitcher. Like what pitcher might it have been? Like after you after you said never mind, doesn't matter. I was thinking pitcher. 100 Pence. Wow, what a name. Blast from the past right there. 100 Pence came to the Phillies after Jason Worth went to the Nationals to fill that void in right field. And it never just really seemed to fit. And do you feel the same, Miguel, about that?
Yeah,
Like we were kind of hoping that it was going to be somebody that was going to be here for a while, and it just never really. Like we didn't necessarily dislike him.
he was actually a fan
were we
favorite.
expecting more?
Say again?
Were we expecting more? Were we expecting more from him? Did we think he was a superstar coming in?
So when we got him, so I think this was a year after we got like Roy Oswalt, and then we had like the big 5 pitchers, and then I think we got Holiday. So we had Cliff Lee, Holiday, Hamels, Oswalt, and I believe Blanton or whoever the fifth starter was. So the money went into pitching, which should have, but I think he just Pence wasn't Jason Worth. He just for what he lacked in power, we kind of lost in run support. Because the one year that we lost to the Cardinals, we lost the game 1-0 in the divisional round. So
Yeah, that one hurt.
literally, especially, and that was the beginning of the end for because I think Holiday started getting injured, and then he just went from being injured to just gone. Same thing with Cliff Lee. His was a little bit more gradual, and then we wound up trading Hamels.
That was also the series where Ryan Howard slipped out the box and tore his Achilles, ain't it?
Yep, busted his
Final out of
Achilles.
the game of the series.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, and I felt so bad. This is probably the only time I ever regret, like, my fandom taking me to a different place. Like, I was actually mad at Howard for not crawling to first base. You know what I mean? Because he has such a bad. You know what it was? He has such a bad series, and I think game 1 he hit like this monster home run for the Phillies to finally take the lead. Whatever. But it was so upsetting because I always remember. I think it was that same game Where Chris Carpenter, he was just mowing him down. Like he just looked so confused. And I think he struck out like 5 consecutive times. And on that last one, not the ground ball, but the at bat before that, Chris Carpenter is running off the field like cracking up. Like I can't even believe like it's this easy. You know what I mean? I think that was the frustration of it all.
That's when they figured
Because
him out.
Yeah, they figured him out. And I think and it goes back to my disdain for Howard is that he never did anything to change. He doubled down on what he was, and he just went downhill and he never changed, which
Hey,
is, you know,
do you guys sense a theme with Miguel? Miguel has a gripe with some of the biggest stars that ever come through this city. All of them.
no, that's not true.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Who do I have a gripe with?
Allen
Besides
Iverson,
besides Allen Iverson, besides Joel
Joel,
Embiid. Uh
Kyle Schwarber.
no, I changed on Schwarber because he's now his average is a lot better. He's done what he was supposed to do, and even Harper to an extent. Um, but excluding Aaron Nola because he needs to play in like a California penal league or something.
I feel like there was a couple football players you had some issues with too. Can't remember off the top of my head. I feel like at one point you had an issue with Jason Kelsey.
No, I never had an issue with Jason Kelsey.
I feel like you were telling him he needs to retire or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be somebody else, but there was a football player that there was. I can't remember who it was. I don't remember. It was a CJ GJ.
I had a problem with him talking so much on social media, but not had nothing to do with his play.
All right, I can't remember.
But it goes back to oh yeah,
Chinwick,
that's McNabb. It was McNabb, Mister Passive Aggressive Campbell Soup himself.
So we got Joel Embiid, Allen Iverson, McNabb, Nola, Schwarber. I'm missing somebody. Oh well, either way, that's five. That's a handful right there.
But they're legitimate gripes.
Why? Why? What makes them legitimate?
Embiid is injury prone, but throughout his career he didn't make the best decisions in the world for his team. I think he's starting to now, but a lot of decisions that I still don't understand how you get 12 stomach viruses
I
in the
think
same
I
season.
think your gripes are more about missed potential.
Not even missed potential, but unrealized potential due to lack of effort.
That's what all your I think that's at the center of all your gripes. That's my feeling.
It is, and it started with Iverson. Again and again, I know I read more into the backstory about the whole practice thing, and he was going through something, lost a friend, things like that. But it still doesn't. It still doesn't forgive the fact that Fan Appreciation Day, 3 years in a row, he decided not to even show up. Post career, I think that 3-on-3 tournament that I think was backed by Ice Cube or something like that didn't show up for that. There's certain things like
No, he did show up for that.
it was, but it was,
played in there.
or was it the thing overseas?
It was something overseas he didn't show up for. I believe there was some reports that he didn't show because he played in the big three like a game or two. He ended up getting hurt and then he never played again. But he was one of the people that they kind of advertised on him and Dr. J's back, not back, but they were kind of big on dropping those names in there for that big three, which actually I think it started this week, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Big Three starts back up. There's not going to be much to watch on TV. Well, there's a lot of sports to watch, but basketball's over, so I need to see some basketball.
Right.
You look like you were looking something up.
No, I was just checking to see about the 3-on-3, but no, and again, it always goes back to that one game when he comes back as a Sixer and he's facing Kobe, and just to see the difference in a person that plays the game hard and does everything effort wise to try to make the play, but then you have the player that wants to win. And not to say that Allen Iverson didn't want to win, but they both went about it in different ways. And
so let me ask you this: did you not enjoy the times that these guys play? Like, did you not enjoy it?
I enjoyed 2001. It was the most basketball I had watched up to
I'm talking
that
about
point.
the careers of these guys. Like, 2001 was great. We loved it. I'm talking about, like, what about 98 or 2003? Like, did you enjoy watching them play? McNabb
No.
and Iverson and to a point, Embiid. I know you were kind of out on NBA at that point, but
Right. After 2001 and after the practice comment, I was out on the Sixers and Iverson. McNabb was frustrating because the knock on him was that after a while he just stopped running, and he would force his throws or throw the ball away, things like that. And I think he really was trying to fight so hard against the stereotype or being labeled a certain type of player that he wound up not using all of his tools to get him to a certain place. You know what I mean? Same thing with Iverson. Same thing with Embiid. Yeah, and I know Embiid won an MVP. So did Allen Iverson. But after 2001 with Iverson, it was constant first round, second round exits, and
it was
bickering,
garbage teams.
and it was constant arguing between him and Larry Brown, and stuff like that. Shut up. McNabb only had cornrows for like 4 games, and Embiid never had cornrows. And if Schwarber actually got cornrows, I think he would look pretty cool.
Oh boy! All right, look, Santa hates people with cornrows. That's funny. Oh, we're gonna get up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all for hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast. And I'm losing my voice. I'm trying to figure out why I'm losing my voice. But look,
Post nasal drip, cough through the cold.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You threw a lot at me just now. I wasn't ready for that.
Oh,
But,
my
bad. He said, I mean, we're gonna let him get that one in there. He said all 3 had cornrows.
Okay, and they all 3. I'll leave it alone.
Phillies need to win a championship, man. So do the Sixers. It's time. All right, look, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us on the Check Swing Podcast right here with myself. And, of course, the brains and brawn of the situation, my man Miguel, who's down in
Baltimore, having big fun.
We're going to get up out of here. We'll talk to y'all next week, right? Is it next week? Will we be around next week? Next week's not a holiday. It's the week after. And then the week after that is like an all-star game, right?
Yeah, we usually stop after the All-Star game to take our own All-Star break.
So, stick with us to the All-Star game. We'll be taking our break after the All-Star game, but we're going to definitely be doing some things at the All-Star game. I want to go down to the Fan Fest, and maybe I'll broadcast live from there. We'll see. But with all that being said, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Bring your friends and family with us with you too. Please. Please. All right. Peace, y'all.
Until we meet again.